So, hello friends, I'm Dr. Sona Kaushal Gupta. So, I'm a neuropsychologist and I talk to you about issues of psychological importance which are causing ripples in the society. And I talk to you about this in my program called Social Impact, which I take up and I discuss those issues which are very recent and which are causing you know, some ripples in the society and they are impacting people's minds. So, a very recent incident has just happened, and this was about a murder of a young person, a Navy officer, by his wife and her boyfriend. And they chopped him up into some pieces and they put him in a can and cemented him. And the 6 year old daughter was also around. So, it's a very horrifying story which is going around, and it's there in the newspapers and it's there all over social media, and this is causing some has unhappiness and fear in people in and around the area where all this has happened, and they've been talking to me and asking me that why does this happen and how to be safe in such an unsafe world today. Yes, I would like to say that it's an unsafe, uncertain world, but we have to be safe, and we have to be in a very healthy mind and a healthy body to cope up with all these adversities which are facing us day to day, and which confront us. Now, in this very situation in which this young lady murdered her husband, they had married out. It was a love marriage, they say, and they had a 6 year old daughter. But there are various stories which are coming forward. Then they are saying that she was into drugs, and the drugs were provided to her by her boyfriend who used to come off and on. And there was some money problems also involved in all this. Serious crime took place. Now, what is the psychology of such people, and why do they do such things? So it has been seen that's a very complex and intricate interplay of many factors, and including it can include personality disorders, it can include antisocial behavior, psychopaths or sociopaths, or it can have some mental health disorders, like they can be schizophrenia or they can be bipolar disorders. There can be some potential brain differences in some people. There is an amygdala not connecting with the prefrontal cortex, which is rationalizing the situations. That differences may be there, and the picture is made up of someone who does not have any empathy, remorse, who has a disregard for social norms, and no compassion, no guilt, and so they just go about and do these things. So the key traits which I feel that there are in people who do such things, and of which we should be careful and aware of, like I said, antisocial tendencies. So these are the people who don't who are not involved in the norms of the law or following the law, or lots of antisocial activities, and they disregard thefts or maybe breaking things, or and they have disregard of all the social norms. So these are personality traits in such people, and some of them are they are characterized by very manipulative behaviors, like lack of empathy also, and all social norms, sociopaths or psychopaths, as you call them. Empathy is feeling what the other person is going through, and remorse, when they're doing it, there is no remorse, there's no guilt, there's no fear. They just go and do it. Some of them are very impulsive. There is a lot of impulsivity in their personality traits also. They just go and do it without thinking. Some of these cases, and of course it has been seen that there is a lot of childhood trauma and emotional abuse associated with these people who do it. They usually have come from very dysfunctional families where there is no respect, there is a lot of violence, there may be drugs, there may be alcohol, there may be financial problems, there may be physical violence, emotional abuse, physical abuse. So when children see all this in their families while they are growing up, it becomes a part of their personalities. So we have to be very careful with how we are bringing up our children. Dissonance in the sense that their beliefs may be different, but they just go about and do things because they can't control things. Like for instance, a person who starts drinking or taking drugs, he knows it's bad, but still he does it. So this conflicts, he's not able to cope up with these conflicts or find the right solutions to them. So therefore he gives in to them. Very low emotional intelligence in these people. And of course, as I said, there can be some mental illnesses like schizophrenia or bipolar, or they may be having some homicidal tendencies in them. Motivation is usually why they do it is because financial loss. Of course, drug addiction is a very big factor, and that was the case which is also coming up in this story, that they were saying that this wife was taking drugs because her boyfriend was supplying that to them. So there was a financial criteria to this also. They needed money for those drugs. So jealousy can be there, revenge can be there, or maybe it can be just a show of power or control in psychological issues in such people. So we have to be very careful keeping all this in mind. Now is the age of the social media, and what we are seeing is impacting, it's making up our emotional diet. And dear friends, that is what is making us who we are. So, we have to be very careful of how we are bringing up our children, because our children are seeing the social media, being impacted by it, and when there's nobody to guide them or to tell them what is right or wrong, they take a wrong path. So be very careful of what you're seeing in the social media, because a lot of violence is being shown in some sites. So we get desensitized to violence, seeing a lot of violence in the social media or in the films or in the on the TV. So be very careful of what you consume from this social media, which is there in the air around us like a pandemic again. And of course, say no to drugs, say no to alcohol, bring your children up in a healthy atmosphere. If you are facing any mental health issues or having any psychological issues, or you feel you need help, or you feel somebody around you, maybe in your family or in your friend circle, needs help, please do not hesitate to come forward and take help and counseling, because a stitch in time can save nine. And counseling really helps excuse me, come out of these disorders. So be aware of what your children are doing, whom they are going out with, what they are seeing. Be aware of what you're saying and doing at home, what you're seeing on the TVs and social media. And if you have any sort of issues or problems, fighting, screaming, shouting, hitting, abuse is not the way out to it. You have to sort things out, and counseling really helps in this. So signing off, this is an awareness video, so that people can come out of their fears, and they can live a happy, wholesome life if they are in control of their life, and if they know that their mind health and mental health really matters. Signing off, Dr. Sona. I'm a medical doctor and a neuropsychologist.